Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. We've got a great show lined up, a special guest in the studio. You're really going to enjoy listening to some of his stories about how he does things. It's going to be a fascinating show. But first, as always, let's get our weather. Sponsored by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Great programs there, and we'll talk about that some coming soon. But today's going to be a high of actually 79 and a low of 53. Beautiful day. Guess what? The water temperature is going back up another degree. It almost dropped down to 69 last week. Now it's up to 74 degrees. And that's really, well, I know what it's doing. It's confusing these migratory fish. Those pompano don't know whether to go down south or come back up north. They're going back and forth. So hopefully we can get them when in a confused state. Maybe they'll stay in one area. The river readings brought to us by Sandhill Seafood up on Highway 77, just past Bozeman School. Good fresh seafood there. Looking at Apalachicola, Bluntstown, we're looking at a 2.3. Not much going on there. The Choctawhatchee at Caryville, it is at a 5.2. Both rivers are pretty steady. It looks like it'll be a beautiful weekend to be on the rivers. Be some real colorful trees, and it's going to be really pretty weekend if you get a chance to get outdoors, especially on the rivers and creeks. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. We're looking at another strong day of tides. Really good situation there as far as we got a morning tide going out. About middle of the morning, we got a low tide at 11:15 this morning. Okay, so it's got all the outgoing tide if you want to be fishing for flounder or whatever. And then it's going to switch around and start coming back in. We've got a strong 1.6 foot range. We've got a tide that's going to be late this afternoon, it's going to be pushing in. So there'll be some really good fishing up in the tidal flats this afternoon, okay? And actually, we won't get high till right around midnight if you want to go floundering also. And the marine forecast will be coming out of north at about 10. We're going to take our break and come right back with our special guest. Welcome back, folks, and welcome to the show. Our special guest, Kenny Watford. Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
Glad to have you. Drove all the way down from Ebro.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kenny is a taxidermist, okay, and this is a fascinating, first of all, it's a fascinating field. Everybody sort of thought about how much fun it would be for taxidermists, I don't care whatever age, but then, Kenny, you sort of stuck to it, but what a great story. So tell us your background and how you ended up in taxidermy.
Okay, originally I killed a deer up in Alabama, and we took it to Critter Creations to have it mounted, and I walked in the building, and I thought that was pretty neat. I wanted to learn how to do it, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I went to Texas for schooling, and it basically turned out to be an expensive vacation. And so when I come back, Mr. McCormick found out about it, and he had knew some of my family through the paper mill. Mm-hmm. And he told him, he said, if he wants to come down here and learn a little bit, I'll be glad to have him. And he was needing some help at the time, and so I went down there and started working on him a few days during the week and on weekends. Mm-hmm. And during my summer breaks, I would work pretty much every day with him except Sundays. And when I graduated, it was either, hey, I need a real job, or I can continue staying here and playing with you. And so he hired me permanently, and I've been there for 16 years up until he passed away about a year ago. And then we had to step away, and we had to open up our own shop, and I'm still doing it, going on 17 years now.
This is amazing. Almost all of y'all out there locally knew Phil McCormick and Critter Creations. What a great reputation he had. First of all, as a good man, just a good, strong man, and a caring kind of man, and did a lot of things. But as a taxidermist, he was unequal.
He was good at his craft. He
really was, and I talked to him a lot of different functions. He'd be bringing mounts and all down. I know down at First Methodist we'd have some NRA stuff or whatever. He'd always bring mounts and all, and I would just sit there in amazement looking at the work he did. And so you got to work with him quite a bit.
I worked with him for 16 years, side by side.
What do you think was, just quickly, what was his strong points? What made him so good?
He wasn't scared to try any of it. In the last probably about 5 or 6 years, we really got big into doing a lot of African animals. And some of the things that would intimidate most people, he just looked at it as another project, and we're gonna put it together one piece at a time.
Yeah, he had a lot of confidence in himself.
He did. He sure did.
Well, when you first started with him, what was your assignment? I mean, I'm sure he didn't give you the complete reign to the
No.
He gave you a little bit at a time. Baby step? What was baby step?
He ended up teaching me how to flush down deer, skin them out,
Okay.
get them wrapped up and tag them correctly, get them in the freezer so when we go to pull them out, we could get the people with the right hides, right horns. Mm-hmm. And then slowly he started teaching me to mount. And within about 5 years, he felt pretty comfortable to turn me loose. And then I could flush them, mount them, skin them, tag them, bag them, and it just went from there. And finally, he just started slowly backing out and basically doing paperwork and PR. Mm-hmm. And I pretty much mounted everything. And so.
Well, you did an apprenticeship, basically a 5-year apprenticeship, which is, going back in the history of America and really the history of the world. That's really what people did.
Right.
Apprentice.
And that's the way he went through the mill as well during that time.
Yeah.
Was doing an apprenticeship. And it was nice to learn that craft from somebody who was as good as he was. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so.
Well, this is really good stuff. Now, we've got some pictures and all to show you, but we're going to go and take a quick break at this point in time and come back and show you some of the work that we were going to show you right here. Be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here, we got a great story going on here on taxidermy with Kenny Watford from Watford Taxidermy and his apprenticeship and how he learned from one of the best around field down at Critter Creation. So we're talking about, first of all, let me throw something out. Before he passed away, y'all working on the biggest one y'all ever worked on. Tell us that story.
Well, we had a client that went to Africa probably 4 or 5 times, mm-hmm. and he was always bringing stuff back, and that right before Phil passed away, a few months before he passed away, me and Phil and a few other people, we went and we done a life-size giraffe. We didn't have room to do it there in the shop, so we had it out there in his driveway, and we put the form together, which took about a week to get it all fitted and all that. Tried the hide on several times, and we put it in the back of a U-Haul and drove up there and put it together inside of his showroom.
That's amazing. Wow, that is amazing. I guess patience is probably one of the most biggest virtues you can have.
You got to like to sew and have nothing else to do.
Okay, all right, let's look at some of these pictures. Okay, here we go. This right here, Watford's Taxidermy on Casey Road in Ebro, and the phone number right there and all. Established 2017. I like that. Okay, and then and this is we're going to talk about chronic waste. We're going to come back and talk about chronic waste and disease. Let's look at some of these pictures and all. Let's tell it, top left-hand corner, let's go from left to right. Tell us about some of these.
We got a black bear. That was done for FWC. It was a real neat, unique bear. It had white feet, and that was a big deal for them, so they had never seen one, so they wanted to get that one done.
Okay.
So we done that one for FWC. And, of course, a little raccoon, and mm-hmm. we got a hog. That
raccoon looks just like a raccoon,
They're neat.
It's not fluffed up like it's going, been to town. I mean, he's been in the woods.
He has.
You can tell.
When it gets into winter, that was during, it was warm weather. Of course, we're in Florida, so it stays warm most of the time anyway. But the colder it gets, the more fur they end up having.
Right.
It makes prettier mount, the more fur they have. Then a hog. We got plenty of them around here.
Well,
everybody has hog problems. Little gray fox there. A lot of people confuse a gray fox and a red fox because the gray fox has so much red on them.
Okay.
Where a gray fox has gray, a red fox has no gray.
Okay.
They are strictly red.
Okay.
And,
good deal.
They're cute.
All right, then that's a collection right there.
Yeah, several deer hanging there on a fence panel and coyote down there at the bottom. Probably 80% of the work we do is strictly deer.
Okay.
And then bobcats and foxes and hogs make up the rest of it.
That's some nice bucks there. I guess they come from different places.
Yeah, about 4 of them are local, and that one, there ain't no telling where it came from.
Okay, and then little bobcat.
A little bobcat walking mm-hmm. down a limb there.
That's natural. What and that's the thing about it. Y'all make it look so natural, like the normal things they normally do.
You use a lot of reference pictures.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, this is like on a table, right?
Yeah, that's a pedestal mount. I like pedestals.
Mm-hmm.
We get a guy from Mississippi to build all our bases. You can build them any wood you want to, any style. That's the main style we use right there. it adds so much more character to that deer other than just hanging him up on the wall.
It really does, and you know, you got to balance it. I guess that's a strong piece of wood, and balancing them on there. Cool. Okay.
That is a life-sized Corsican. He come from Texas, and there's probably 7, 8, 9, 10 different kind of goats. They all are basically the same. Everything mounts the same.
They do the same thing?
It really does, and then a beaver.
Okay. All right. So that's just a collection of things y'all have done in the past and all that. That's really some really good work and all. One, we'll go ahead and get into the chronic wasting disease, what we mentioned it earlier. And tell us, I guess when people get ready to, when they take a game and all from out of town, out of state.
There's a few states or several states. Game and Fish has been really good about containing it to those states. They've done a really, really well job at doing that. When you go out of town, anybody that goes out of town just for traveling purposes, I will show anybody how to cape one out. Take the skull out of it, then you can wrap it up in a small bag, put it in your cooler, put the horns in your truck. You're not driving around with a deer in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
'Cause once that heart stops beating, it's in a decaying process. So if you got to drive 6, 7, 8 hours, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And you can't close the lid on that cooler with them horns sticking out of it. And so them chronic waste states, if you can find a taxidermist in the area, they'll cape it out for you for a few bucks, It doesn't take just a few minutes to do it because you're not allowed to bring back any spinal cord or brain tissue.
So basically, you just want that thing caped out and ice down, or
yeah, keep it ice down. Don't just throw it in the back of your truck in a black bag and throw a couple bags of ice in there on it.
Yeah,
it turns into a greenhouse back there in that black bag sitting in the sun.
Yeah, I bet. I guess over the years, I'm sure taxidermists have seen some kind of situations over the years.
We've ran into a few.
Y'all probably could have written a book on all the things. Because people, they really, they don't have, first of all, they don't have a lot of experience with it.
Right.
And so when they take, especially big, when their heart's beating really fast and all, they're not thinking clearly.
Correct. Yeah, and who would?
Yeah.
The last thing you're thinking about when you kill a big deer is taking care of the hide. You're wanting to show the horns off to all your buddies, and so you put it in the back of your truck and drive around.
That's right. And you say 80% of your work are with the deer?
It is deer. It is.
Yeah. Where most of them local?
Most people are local, spanning from Tallahassee to Pensacola. Okay. But most of them are right here in Bay County, Washington County, Jackson County. Okay. But a lot of people go off. They take what they can spend in their hunting leases with corn and guns and gas, driving back and forth. They can take that money, they can go to a ranch and kill a really nice deer for the same price.
That's a good point, because that's really what's going on now, because I know a lot of these boys that they're going to Kentucky, Southern Illinois.
Right.
And I know a lot of them go up into Georgia and Alabama, of course, but and they're most of the time come back with a nice set of horns.
They do, they really do.
And it's interesting, on the money, you're right about balances out.
Right.
So it's whatever you want. I noticed I showed on yesterday's show Ben Still's wife. She had a nice one, and you say you do some work with some of Ben's?
I've done several things for Ben and Miss Stacy. Miss Stacy killed her a nice deer, especially for a local deer.
That was a nice buck this time of year.
It was.
Yeah. What are some? Have you been able to pinpoint any particular locations where a lot of in the Florida Panhandle, not counting fenced-in areas, where a lot of big bucks have come from over the years?
It amazes me the deer that come out of Tyndall.
Out of Tyndall.
10 years ago, deer had come out of Tyndall. It was a little scraggly buck.
Exactly, and that's about when I started doing the show. And I usually, well, that's a Tyndall buck, and everybody look at a little skinny thing like that. What happened in these 10 years?
I don't know. Management.
Yeah, I guess so. Here's my theory on it, because I've seen a couple of years ago, a couple last year, and I knew the boys that took that big old buck. That was a huge buck, and I think what happened, that buck was able to stay in a very safe area and just ventured out at the wrong time.
That's it.
And that way he got bigger and bigger. But that shows you the genetics are there, and I mean, what are they going to eat at Tyndall? I mean,
right.
What are they going to eat
Sand
there?
hats.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, but that's funny. So Tyndall is a good place. Well, what other areas?
Pretty much everywhere anymore. They're getting better and better every year. You know, like I said, 10 years ago, you killed an 8-point, it was getting mounted. It didn't matter if it was a basket rack or a big 8.
Right.
Now you kill an 8-point, everybody wants to know how big it is. People have gotten so much better in management and what they're feeding their deer. They're letting them grow up. You know, they're letting them get to that, you know, pivotal age of 4 years old, 5 years old, and that makes a big difference.
Okay, we're going to take our final break and come right back. All right, welcome back, folks, to our final segment here on Panhandle Outdoors. Sitting here with Kenny Watford, Watford Taxidermy up in Ebro, and we're going to get up there and shoot some video for long.
That'd be great.
I want you to come back on the show every now and then and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, we'll find something to talk about.
I'm telling you, you're doing a good job for your rookie show right here. Let's first look at our fishing game times brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe. Our times today, 4:30 to 6:30, but this afternoon, 4:59 to 6:59. I will promise you, if nothing happens, I will be fishing this afternoon. Well, it's going to be dark then too, isn't it? I'm just going to keep on fishing. Okay, I'm going to add one name in a pickle jar, and we're going to remember now tomorrow I'll be drawing for some fresh seafood from Tarpon Dock, and also a free seafood platter from Highway 77 Seafood. Every Friday we do that, adding Tracy Waldo. And now if you won this year, a lot of y'all won, so I've left your name out. This jar will be overflowing. We've had a lot of winners this year. Okay. The one thing we were talking about, getting back to taxidermy and all, you were able to learn on a really good man and all, and now you got a situation. I was going to ask you, how long on a normal mount? How long did it take you?
About 2.5 weeks to get. You know, you can't run the same one. You can do one a day, but you can't run the same one through the whole process because of the drying period. But you can skin one out, you can flesh it. You can get it mounted, and then it has to hang on the wall, and you just tweak on it for about a week.
Okay.
And then it takes about a week and a half to completely dry out.
But you just sort of get back, you keep looking at it and say, you just got to size it up.
As it dries, it crawls around, so you have to keep messing with it, keep it where it needs to be.
And we're talking about the deer and all, but the other 20% of what comes in line then after the deer?
Probably hogs and bobcats.
Okay.
Are our next biggest ones. We probably do a dozen or so bobcats and probably 2 or 3 dozen hogs every year.
Are you seeing some big hogs? Or are these hogs?
The hog is a hog to me. They're all the same. They're a pain to flesh down because of that shield. That is hard as a brick.
You know, to me it'd be a challenge to make a hog look pretty.
It is.
Because they're ugly. So anyway, I guess now fish and all, you don't do much.
I don't do much fish. There's a guy in Jacksonville. He's 3rd-time world champ painter.
Yeah.
But he costs that also. But it's either right or wrong.
Yeah, you get a lot of molds and all nowadays for fishing. People just take the picture of it.
There's not very much skin mounting done anymore. Yeah. And there's a good reason for that. I mean, a fiberglass mold will hold up for a lifetime and longer, whereas a skin mount, you're going to get maybe 10, 15 good years out of it. Then it's going to start decaying.
And I always had some mallards and wood ducks I took out of Deer Point Lake, and the old timers mounted them many years ago. And I had a nice wood duck in my garage, and my cat got a hold of it because it was so natural. My cat, he was able to jump up on the water pump and jump up there and just eat them all up. I was gone, so I came home one day, feathers all over. My cat had done it, so I figured that's pretty realistic and all. Okay, chronic wasting disease. We'll talk about now. You tell them go ahead and check with somebody up there, make sure the skin out really good.
Correct.
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal. It doesn't happen as much as it used to. People are pretty knowledgeable about it now. When they go out of state, they know if that state has that chronic waste or not. If they do, just get it skin out. You know, any taxidermist would be more than happy to skin it out for you. And I'm pretty confident any taxidermist locally that is your taxidermist, if you tell them, hey, I'm going out of town, I want to know how to cape one out, they'll show you how to do that. They want it done right because it makes their procedure so much easier.
Let me ask you this: do you ever do any repair where somebody, say, messes up or the horn breaks or whatever? Do you ever do much of that?
We do quite a bit of fixing on the horns. Now, far as the mount itself, it's hard. When
Yeah,
it dries
yeah.
out, it's hard. So you can remount them. You know, you just take the horns off that old mount and get you a new cape, which we do a lot of. But as far as fixing tines, it's just a slow, tedious process of making sure you get them stained right and shaped right.
Isn't it fascinating how much those horns can grow in 1 year?
I've heard that it is the fastest growing tissue known to man
It's got to be.
during its growing
So
process.
you're talking about, you know, you're going from nothing, up to here in a
yeah.
season.
That's it. And I mean, a matter of months.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think if you could get a camera on it and watch it clip by clip, you
Yeah.
could literally see it moving.
You know what, that's a good idea. Maybe somebody want to mount a GoPro on
Yeah.
there, just let it sit there and run it back and forth. Okay, you got about a couple minutes left, and I want to make sure we cover everything now. If they kill them, can they call you? They get a buck or something, just call you?
Yeah, call us. If you're going out of town, or if you've already got out of town and you realize you want to get your cape skinned out before you come back, you can call me. We're like a convenience store right now. We're 24/7. If
Yeah.
you want to call me at 1 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning, I will get up and talk to you, just to make sure that your hide is taken care of until you can get it back home.
Very good, very good. Behind the camera there, we couldn't get her to come on, with beautiful wife Kayla, and she's a lot of help to you, right?
She is. I could not do it without her. She's the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Well, when you say that, I'm the same way with my job. I couldn't do it without my wife. So when we started talking, I realized right away what kind of relationship y'all had. So that's wonderful.
Anything
Yeah.
Facebook-wise, Instagram, internet, any of that, she handles that. You're talking to her.
Honey, can you do that on a computer for me?
Yeah. I'm in the back playing with the good stuff.
Okay, real quick, what do y'all enjoy doing? Do you ever have time to fish or hunt?
We don't. We have 2 little boys that they pretty much eat up the rest of our free time.
Yeah.
We got chickens and rabbits and pigs and dogs, and so
Awesome. Very good.
we enjoy being around the house and just being with each
Well,
other.
we're going to get up there one day and check you out and see
That'd be
everything
awesome.
you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's
Good
been
stuff.
a pleasure.
Appreciate you doing it. Okay, y'all check out Watford Taxidermy there, and you see what you're going to get, some good quality work. Folks, as always, we appreciate you watching Panhandle Outdoors, appreciate all the things you do in our community. Always do something good for your fellow man. You have a great day, enjoy those outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.